Hello again, I'm Mr. Dalton, and these are the ways that I preserve my mental health. Today on the episode of Preserving Wellness, President of the Pickle Club, Simon Presley, spoke about reading as a way to take care of your mental health. And I 1000% agree that reading is a great way to expand your knowledge, broaden your horizons. Reading can take you to whole other worlds that you've never been to. You can escape reality for a little bit if you need to. And it's really something that will take you further in life. However, for me, reading was not always a great thing. And it actually hurt my mental health to some degree when I was a kid. Growing up, I absolutely hated reading. I'm sure many of you can relate to that. I hated it with a passion because it was difficult for me. Reading was work. What I now know as an adult, I had undiagnosed ADHD, so it was really hard for me to focus on what I was reading. I could read the same page about 9 times, 10 times, and still not know what I read. My mind would wander off. And it was to actually read and focus on something took actual work, and it would be exhausting for me. I could never relate to those people who just sit down and relax with a book and do it for enjoyment, because reading was actual labor for me. It was work, and it took everything for me to focus on what I was reading. So for that reason, I really did not read a lot as a kid outside of what I was forced to read at school or by my parents. Funny enough, right now, some of the 8th graders are reading The Outsiders, and in 5th or 6th grade, that was the first book that really spoke to me, that I read front to back on my own choice. I checked it out at the school library and I read it, and that was the first book that I started and completed on my own free will as a young person. And then it was only really in my adult life, my first year of college, that I started reading for fun, because I realized that what I was dealing with, the focus and the attention issues, are things that I could not fix, but there were things that I could do as an adult. So in that first semester of college, apart from the stuff that I had to read for college, I read probably like 9 books. And one of those books was Nelson Mandela's Long Walk to Freedom, which is like 700 or 800 pages, a thick book. But yeah, I developed ways of helping me focus, helping me figure out how to really hone in that attention while I'm reading, and that helps a lot. I will say, to this day, reading is not a relaxing thing for me. It takes work. It feels like work when I do it, but I do enjoy the process of gaining knowledge. I enjoy the idea of reading, even though it is difficult for me. And some of the ways that I help myself when I'm reading is I annotate. So when I read a book, I don't just sit and read it. I sit with a pen, with a highlighter, sometimes multiple colors, and I think about things that I want to look for, and I make notes in the book. Every one of my books, if you ever borrow it, has all types of writing, annotations, underlined things, highlighted. So that's one of the ways that I keep my attention. The other thing is I read books that I'm interested in. So I find something that I'm interested in, and I make sure that the book is something that I want to know about. And that really helps me keep my focus as well. And then sometimes even I'll get the book on tape or the audiobook, and I'll listen to it as I'm also reading it. And that also can sometimes help me really keep my attention. So those are some things that I do as an adult to help me focus, and it might work for you as well. I highly recommend annotating. I have to be in a quiet place. I can't even read with music in the background or people talking. It gets too distracting. So annotate, find your quiet space, find something you're interested in, and read for fun. Even if it's challenging, even if it's work, our brains are a muscle and we gotta work them out. So I suggest we do it. Now as an adult, my favorite all-time book is Things Fall Apart by the Nigerian author Chinua Achebe. I read this book. I love it. It's a beautiful book. My favorite author is James Baldwin. He writes both fiction and nonfiction, and I love all of his work. It's really great. So even struggling with reading as a kid, not enjoying reading at all, actually hating it, now as an adult, I've grown to love it. And I even have a favorite author and a favorite book. So if you kind of relate to what I'm talking about with the struggles with reading, I suggest you push through, find ways to help you focus, and find those books you're interested in and read, because it really opens up a whole new world. What are ways that you preserve your mental health?